Hello, everyone. My name is Jim Oberlander, and I'm going to be presenting my group's research project. The title of our research project is Caring for Students, a qualitative study of male faculty self-perceptions about caring behaviors toward pre-licensure nursing students. The project participants, the researchers, were Elizabeth Cuniff, Erica Frost, Mark Longshore, and myself, James Oberlander. At the heart of nursing is the concept of care and caring for others, and not just providing patient care, but actually that trust and care that we as nurses offer our patients in the midst of difficult times. In this study, our group really wanted to look at how do male faculty, nursing faculty, provide caring behaviors or self-perceive their caring behaviors towards their pre-licensure nursing students. And the reason for that is because within the curriculum of nursing, it's extremely content-laden, which sometimes overshadows the ability to teach objective or subjective truths or concepts about caring in the way that an individual provides that care, not just that they know the right things to do. And so a lot of times caring and caring concepts are shared through what's called a hidden curriculum, meaning that it's not taught from book knowledge, but it's taught from modeling and behaviors that students see their faculty, administrators, and other nurses acting out of. And so if they see caring behaviors and perceive those as caring behaviors, then they are more inclined to model those themselves. So in light of this very specific phenomenon of male nursing faculty, the reason we came towards that was there's already some literature about faculty caring behaviors, but male nursing faculty, there's very few as far as percentage. The demographics are very small of male nursing faculty members. And so we were really intrigued as to the phenomenon specifically involving this population of individuals. So our research questions that we came to included: what are male nursing faculty members' perceptions of caring behaviors towards pre-licensure nursing students, which was our title as well as under that some research questions, or included in that research question was: how do male nursing faculty provide caring behaviors with intentionality, and what are some of the challenges that male nursing faculty experience in the provision of caring behaviors towards their pre-licensure nursing students? Within the methods, we chose a social constructivistic, interpretivistic, qualitative research study, and used phenomenology or phenomenological type methods within the study. According to Cresswell and Poth, qualitative research reveals the participants' voices through a rich description of the phenomenon of interest, along with contributing to the existing literature or illustrating a call for action and change. Social constructivism informs a lot of the undergirdings of interpretive qualitative research, that being, according to Crotty, looks for culturally derived and historically situated interpretations of the social life world. Really, what is going on? How could we describe or understand better this specific phenomenon of male nursing faculty members' caring behaviors towards their pre-licensure students? So our methods, settings, and participants. The qualitative phenomenological study employed interviews. We did web-based or in-person interviews. We recorded those interviews. We verbatim transcribed those interviews, and then we reviewed. Each of the members in the research group, the four of us, Erica, Elizabeth, Mark, and myself, all reviewed each other's interviews numerous times to attempt to begin that process of understanding the phenomenon by looking at the data. The data collection was the interview process, and then we began to investigate, look at, understand, grasp, code, categorize, and arrive at some themes. What were the themes, the underlying themes of this phenomenon? And the four that we all arrived at pretty equally, even on our own, and then we brought our results to do member checking, we were all arrived at very similar terminology, very similar thematic expressions of this phenomenon, that being clarity and expertise, which is sort of the organization and the ability to guide, lead students in the profession and the understanding of even how that is a caring behavior. Mutual process, meaning it was relational. It was not just passing on of these behaviors, but it was a mutual process of learning and understanding each other in the behaviors. Presence, being in the moment, engaged in those interactions with the students, and the students, if they were, engaged in that interaction as well. The students and the faculty were present in the interaction. And then professional and therapeutic communication, which had a number of sort of sub-themes with it, being boundaries and active listening and appropriate interactions, verbal, nonverbal, in a way that the faculty could not only perceive themselves as being caring, but that the students would receive the caring behaviors from a professional dynamic. As far as the implications, what did we glean from it as a group? There were a number of different aspects of this research process, as well as the outcomes that we came to. I'm going to allow each of the members to share their own thoughts pertaining to the research processes and the outcomes that meant the most, but I want to take just a moment to talk about the implications. There were unique outcomes that were different than prior research. A lot of it was similar, but there were unique idiosyncrasies or unique aspects that occurred from our observations of the data. And those implications are that male nursing faculty engage in caring behaviors, they self-perceive caring behaviors differently, and they also have to set different boundaries in their behaviors as they engage in caring behaviors towards their pre-licensure nursing students, because of not only the power structure dynamic, but also in many regards because of the gender differences, that being male nursing faculty to predominantly female undergraduate pre-licensure nursing students, and how communication can be misunderstood and misperceived. So there's a lot of uniquenesses and idiosyncrasies to this phenomenon that would be very interesting to dive deeper into that in both qualitative and quantitative research in the future. So now I want to actually give an opportunity for each of the members to share their own thoughts about this research, the outcomes, the data collection processes, and what they gleaned from this overall qualitative research project. And it's loading.
Hi everyone, I'm Beth Kniff. I just want to take a minute to reflect on my biggest takeaways this semester, and specifically with our research study. This semester I've really come to value qualitative statistics. I consider myself a concrete, number-oriented person. I'm truly an introvert and would prefer to hide behind a screen rather than interview a participant. I've discovered that the interview wasn't as overwhelming as I built it up to be, though. Nursing lends itself to relationships, and I can rely on my nursing expertise and skill as a simulation debriefer to successfully complete interviews for a qualitative study. I've also noted the time-intensive nature of qualitative data analysis. Compared to running numbers through SPSS, it was time-consuming but essential to truly analyze the data. I also value the rigor of qualitative studies. The last couple weeks, which compared reliability and validity to qualitative methods, sealed the deal. For our study, all team members coded all the transcripts and identified themes before we came together to discuss our findings. This member checking was really beneficial to confirm that we were all seeing the same phenomenon. It helps to be part of a great team. Through this course and this project, I recognize that I can successfully implement a qualitative design, and I'm open to the possibility of a qualitative design in my dissertation project, if the question lends itself to that method. I'm already noting question ideas which might lend to a qualitative study for my dissertation. Thanks, everyone.
And now our next research participant, or researcher, I shouldn't say participant, our next researcher, Erica.
Hi, I'm Erica Frost. Our research project focused on male nurse faculty perspectives of caring, a concept near and dear to my heart as a nurse educator. However, the male perspective is one I had not previously considered, so it was interesting to frame my assumptions and previous experiences prior to this study. Additionally, I was making sure to be intentional to use reflexivity throughout. Those experiences contribute to some of my biggest takeaways about qualitative research. It's a continuously evolving process, and the researcher must be purposeful to maintain ethical considerations throughout. Finding that the male perspective was not that different than what had been discussed in the literature was not too surprising. What really stood out, though, were the intentional differences related to interactions with female students for our participants. They intentionally changed word choice, physical locations, physical interactions, and other behaviors to maintain professional boundaries while still showing care. We had an amazing team that worked well together, and by sheer coincidence, our team was perfectly balanced with 2 male nurse educators and 2 female nurse educators. So our reflexivity included everyone's perspectives. We worked well, running ideas past each other and recognizing that we each had a unique perspective to bring to this study. In my opinion, the diversity of our research team made it a better study. Each of us read and reread and reread the interview transcripts and coded and categorized independently, and then came together to analyze further and create our themes. It was a well-structured process based on our readings, and it worked. To be honest, I was a little surprised how well everything came together. Never in my life did I imagine I would be able to conduct and write up a phenomenological study in 16 weeks, but here we are. Our study has opened the door to future qualitative research for me, as it was entirely doable and interesting to do. The only thing I would want to have done differently for this study is to perhaps have had longer to recruit participants, just to be super duper sure that we had saturated our sample population. Overall, though, this was a great experience.
And the next researcher.
Hello, I'm Mark Longshore, and I'd like to share with you some of my takeaways from this research project. First, recognition of my own bias. We were studying the male nurse educators' perception and understanding of caring as they apply it, if you will, to the relationship with their students. I had my own definition of what caring meant, and at best it was somewhat feminine. At worst, it was kind of in line with a theorist that I would consider kind of out there. I was surprised that as we went through the literature, I found that it did not support my idea of what caring meant, but rather did support my own behaviors towards my students. In other words, I had suddenly become a caring male nurse educator. So I had to kind of set that old definition aside as I moved forward into the interview, of course, and the analysis of that interview. Secondly, I was surprised at how easily people just open up. Certainly, part of that is just an honest description of what you're studying, what you're looking for, but still, I was surprised at how easily people just share their experiences. Finally, I had some trouble with the analysis piece and was pulled along by my peers. When it came down to it, I had the same themes that everybody else did, but I had considerable trouble putting a name to it. My themes were kind of basic, not really much meaning behind them. And, in the end, did I learn how to do the process? Yes, I did learn it. Could I do it on my own? I don't know. What I do know is that I prefer the concreteness of quantitative research.
right, and me. Hello, everyone. My name is Jim Oberlander, and I just want to take a few short minutes to share with you 3 things I learned during the qualitative research process. The first being reflexivity. I found it extremely beneficial to write down my thoughts, to be able to go back and reflect on them later so that I could stay grounded in the data. The second being member checking. I haven't had the opportunity to do a group research project like this, and doing the analysis, coding, categorization, observed theme process by myself is one thing, but then to be able to come together with other members of the group who've done the same process and find that we've arrived in many regards to the same observations was extremely beneficial to see, and impactful to see how member checking increases validity and reliability, the trustworthiness of the data. And the third is boundaries, which was a sub-theme within the data. And under professional and therapeutic communication, I found that a number of the participants discussed spending cognitive energy, deliberate, intentional thought processes on how to interact with students so that it wouldn't be misperceived. These faculty want to be caring, and they want to be perceived as caring, not as crossing the professional boundary. And so, everything from physical contact, handshakes, pat on the back, hug, is that appropriate ever or not, to the physical environment, meeting outside of the office and in a public environment. These things really hit home to me because being a member of that population being observed, male nursing faculty, I found it extremely enlightening to see others spend that energy on boundaries so that the behaviors they exhibited would be caring. Thanks. And overall, once again, it was a great opportunity to dive deep into a phenomenon of interest to each of our researchers, including myself, for different reasons, but all of us really found this an important study because of the uniqueness of it, the novelty of researching the gender male faculty self-perceptions of caring behaviors. Because if nursing is going to continue to be one of the most trusted and most caring professions known in society, then we need to keep teaching and modeling and engaging with students in a caring way so that they can emulate our behaviors and they can understand the importance of those caring behaviors as they share it with their future students, their future patients, and as they interact with society. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.